So what I was saying is that next week I'm flying out to Central California. The California Association of Realtors is doing an event. It's called AI Now. Not sure if you guys are aware of it, but AI Now is where it's like a 3 hour, 5 hour event, and tickets are being sold. The first two events were completely sold out. We had an audience of about 200 plus real estate agents in Northern California about a month ago, and we're doing this is the last one that's scheduled, I believe, for the year. AI Now. I will also be speaking at the California Association of Realtors, and that's going to be about AI also. So the content is very up to date. Okay. Now we could speak for hours together, but I'm going to focus on 7 game-changing tools and resources that I'm personally using for my business that have made a considerable impact. But my point in sharing with you my background with CAR is because at the event that I just spoke at, there was a survey that had been conducted, and according to one of the gentlemen speaking, only 5% of real estate agents have said that AI has made a significant game-changing move in their business. And I was a little floored by that, only 5%. And I think a big part of it is that we know that there's just so much. What can we do? What should we focus on? So let me just share with you 7 really important ones. The first one is going to be all about photo enhancements. Now, when I'm talking about photo enhancements, here's what I use. ChatGPT has been my go-to. Now, I subscribe to a lot of the AI services. You name them, I pay them. So Claude, I pay. ChatGPT, I pay. Grok, I pay. Manus, I pay. Gemini, I don't pay. But I pay money for all of these services so I can go on out and try and to see which gives me the better results. So for me, ChatGPT has given me the most efficient results consistently. So it just makes sense. Well, let's just go ahead and use these. So what I'm going to share with you is that I'm using AI in order to enhance my photos, but not to look fake. I don't want them to look fake where somebody walks into my open house and then they look around disappointed and say, this is not what was advertised online. So there's a certain process as to how we do it. So number one, I want to show you how to create what we call the money shot. Now, what is a money shot? This is going to be that photo, the first photo that somebody typically sees when your listing pops up on the internet. What is going to be that money shot that gets people to tap on your listing? And then we're going to also talk about twilight images. Now, what did we used to do back in the day? You would hire a photographer and then you'd ask your photographer to shoot twilight. So they would charge you more money. They'd go back in the evening and get some really cool photos. And this is where AI has just been a complete game changer. So here's my prompt. And you guys are more than welcome. Take the photos of the prompt. And I see Bonnie, you're doing that right now. Very smart. Hi there. So it says, edit this real estate exterior photo for the MLS. Use while preserving the original image quality, resolution, sharpness, lens perspective, and natural photographic detail. So what I'm doing is that I'm not just asking ChatGPT enhance this image, but I'm giving very specific parameters for ChatGPT to follow. And so at the end of it all, it is all about the prompt, right? So keep the home, driveway, garage, roof line, brick, planter, walkway, gravel, lawn shape, neighboring structures, and overall composition exactly the same. Do not alter the architecture or make the home look different. Preserve original image quality, resolution, sharpness, and photographic detail. Avoid pixelation, compression artifacts, blurry textures, or AI generated softness. Now, if you don't know what that means, what I have seen and what I have been contacted by a lot of agents is they'll say, John, I'm using ChatGPT, but for some reason, it's really unclear. It's blurry. There's this pixelation. I don't know what's going on. So we dug into that, and there happens to be pretty much like an automatic process of the AI generator when it's working on your image to kind of blur the lines a bit unless you give it specific parameters. So the cool thing for you is you could pretty much just copy this and use this with any one of your listings. Enhance the photo tastefully for high-end MLS money shot while keeping it realistic. Improve brightness, contrast, clarity, white balance, and curb appeal. Slightly enrich the blue sky color and long color. Clean up minor distracting debris and make the image feel crisp and professional. I won't read the rest, but you guys get the point. But this is all about giving very specific parameters. Now, let's just say that you are meeting with a seller and you totally forgot my prompt. You didn't copy it. All you have to do is to upload your image, and you can have a conversation with ChatGPT. Either talk or type it out and say, ChatGPT, I want you to enhance this image. I don't want it to look like anything different. I want it to be this image. Maintain the integrity of my image, right? And then from there, you could ask ChatGPT, analyze this image. And then you give me the most appropriate prompt to give me exactly what I'm asking for. Now, what I just shared with you, I'll tell you, game changing, because I don't know too many realtors are doing that. I'm telling chat what I want, and then I'm asking for the prompt, and then I run the prompt. That is different than me telling ChatGPT what I want and then having it move forward. I'm telling it what I want, and then I'm asking for the prompt. So this is all about AI enhancement for your photos, and here's a perfect example of what we were able to produce. So very clear, enhance the image, make it look better for me, and then let's go one more. So now what we're gonna do is this. I'm gonna upload the original image once again. I'm not gonna upload the altered image. I'm gonna upload the original image, and the prompt that you see on the left side, it's similar, but it's different. We're asking for a twilight photo here. So I'm saying edit the originally uploaded daytime exterior real estate photo into a realistic professional twilight MLS photo. And then I give the parameters again as to how I want to maintain the integrity of the image and so on. So one thing that you're going to want to be mindful of is look at the before, look at the after. Is it something that you feel comfortable uploading? We just closed on a home yesterday. My clients get the keys to the property today. And it was a property that had been enhanced online. It was a money shot. It was actually a great shot. It got my attention. I followed up with the real estate agent right away as soon as it hit the market. And I said, I have the perfect buyer for your home. I sent it to my client. They were excited about it. And then when we got there, they saw the home, they fell in love with it, even though it definitely was enhanced on the internet. Not a big deal. They totally saw the vision of what they were looking for. So does it work? No question about it. Look at the last paragraph, not the one that says do not add grass, but it says important quality requirements, preserve original resolution, sharpness, lens perspective, and photographic details. So just remember, when it comes to enhancing your photos, it's all about the prompts. And then this is what we produced. So this is where the more familiar that you are with the prompting and the strategic execution, the better that you're going to be, the more effective you're going to be. Now imagine, and this is a big takeaway. When you become so proficient with this, you could meet with clients, and as you're walking up to the front door, snap a photo of their home, upload it to ChatGPT, run the prompt to and produce a money shot, run a prompt in order to show what a twilight photo would look like. And imagine when you're in your listing presentation having a conversation with your client where you can show them what you've already done, even though they just met you. Pretty impressive. I just did something similar at another property. Yeah, I'll chat a little bit more about it. But this is point number one, is all about photo enhancements with AI. Next, now that you have an understanding of how to leverage your photo enhancements, then one thing that you should look at doing is this. Take properties and stage them. Show clients what their house could look like if it's cleaned up, or if you have a client that wants to put some money behind it, what it would look like if they did paint the walls, if they did update whatever, right? And this is where you don't have to walk into a listing presentation already doing this. Have a conversation with your client, ask the right questions, learn about what their goals are. But let me just show you what I did. This was huge. I got referred to a client who's selling a property in Jurupa Valley. Now, when I spoke to this seller, he said to me, I already have an agent who lives in the area, somebody who I planned on working with, but I was told that I should call you. So I thought about it and I said, why not talk to a couple of other agents? So pretty much you're going to be one of 3 realtors that I'm talking to. So not a problem. I went out and I met with the client. And when I met with the client, here's what his house looked like. On the left side, I met him and I understood his background. He is a general contractor. He inherited a home and he can sell the house right now and he would walk away with a good amount of money. But he's like, you know what? I have the time. why not put some elbow grease into this so that way I can sell it for more money? And I'm like, that's a great idea. What are you planning on doing? What do you want to do? He does not want to do an overhaul. He's not looking to flip it. All he's looking to do is some basic stuff that he sees as being worth his time and efforts. So, in conversation with me, I said, why not paint the house? Why not paint the house, update the hardware, little things? He's going to already update the electrical. He doesn't want to touch the floors, not a problem. Don't even worry about touching the floors. Why don't we just send out a professional cleaner out here to get your floors looking as spotless as possible? So now, before I left his home, I said, do you mind if I take a few photos? And he says, not a problem at all. And I said, okay, I'm going to go back to my home office. I'm going to think about a plan, a strategy. And then what I'd like to do is to follow up with you tomorrow so that way we could discuss what that plan looks like. So when I went home, I uploaded the photos of his house in its current state. And I gave very specific direction to ChatGPT. Show me what this home would look like with basic updates. This would include painting the walls, and I told them the color. We want to paint it the Swiss coffee. I asked my client, what color do you have in mind? And he said, Swiss coffee. I said, perfect. That's what I would recommend. Okay, we're going to paint Swiss coffee. He's going to update the framing around the doors and on the bottom part. I'm forgetting the name of it, but you guys know what it is, right? The the white part, the trim. And we're going to paint that a bright white. So this is exactly what I'm telling ChatGPT. And we're going to update the hardware. So now let's go through. Not only did I produce these, but then I told ChatGPT, here's the address. Here is my professional headshot. That's what you're looking at. Create a presentation for me that I can share with my client to show him the current state, what it would look like with him doing these potential upgrades, and then what it could look like with me staging the home if he moves forward with hiring me. And so then this is what I have. This is a shot of the living room. And look at the before, look at the updated, and then look at the staged. And then so what I did here is that I did not only create a presentation, I sent this presentation to my local printing company, which for me is US Printing in Montclair. I sent them this file. They charged me $15 to print it and to bind it. And I picked it up from them, drove it down to my client. Remember, I told you next day, I drove down to my client's home and I shared this in person with him. He absolutely loved it. And there's more to this story. But the whole point is that I'm not this tech savvy realtor that's just relying on technology, not understanding the importance of real human connection. If I would have sent him this presentation via text or in an email, I'm sure he would have loved it. But the fact that I printed it and brought it to him, he shared with me right then and there, your level of service is second to none. Ellen was absolutely right about calling you. And so he told me straight up, there's no point in me discussing the sale of my home with anybody else. Keep in mind, the moment I got the referral, I booked that appointment right away. So this is it. Now, the reason that I printed or showed just these two images is because I really want to I want to drive home the point of the current state and then the after. Go ahead, Bonnie, take your photo there. I saw you taking a photo. Got it? Okay, great. Now this is the bedroom, guys. Look at this. This is the bedroom in its current state, the before. Uploaded it to ChatGPT with that same prompt, and then what the property would look like staged. And then there it is. This is my favorite. The kitchen, I thought, came out so clean because he was talking about wanting to knock walls down and wanting to move the kitchen around because one of his friends had said he should consider all this work. And I'm like, do you really want to do that? It's a time, money, and efforts. Do you want to do that? He's like, no, I don't want to. I said, here's what I would do. And if you guys look at the before, look at the cabinet on the top right corner. I recommended we remove that completely. And if you look at the stage, that's exactly what we have. So all we did here was paint and update the hardware, but it looks completely different, right? Looks completely different. So this is it. Now, maybe some different color in the stone as well, but I mean, he totally got it. Not a big deal. Bathroom, same thing. Now the updated image, it actually shows the toilet in the middle of the screen, which that's not what I wanted. And that was my fault for not giving very clear direction. ChatGPT was thinking, oh, you're going to update this. We're going to put a bathroom here. Not a problem. So I told ChatGPT, stage the home and remove the toilet. I want to maintain exactly what it was, and that's where it put the towel back. My client didn't even bat an eye to this. And because I could have fixed it, but I'm like, it's fine the way it is. Juice is worth a squeeze. I did see this before I printed it. It's not like it just accidentally bypassed me. So this is a before and after that I sent my client. Oh, he's going to buy a new, by the way, he's going to buy a new vanity. He wants to buy a new vanity, and he's the one that brought up, I want to carry the vanity all the way over to the side of the wall. I don't know why my uncle put a shorter vanity. And if you guys look at the before, you could see where it actually was longer at one time. So that's where I gave instructions to ChatGPT to give me a vanity with, oh, I even said, if you guys are familiar, I said, give me a vanity that is Glacier Bay, the low cost one that we could purchase from Home Depot. And I'm familiar with Glacier Bay. This is typically what we buy. If we buy a property, fix it up and resell it, we'll buy the Glacier Bay vanities. And that's what I gave direction on. And I said, carry it on over the carry on over the countertop to the door frame. And then my client was really adamant about wanting to put a frameless mirror. He's like, I really like the frameless mirrors. And I was like, perfect. Those are inexpensive. So I was specific with ChatGPT. Show it with a frameless mirror, which is pretty much the size of the countertop. And then also update the lights as well, because we're going to update the lights to something more modern. So this is a completed image. So this right here, I told you that the client said there's no point in me talking to anybody else. I just had a listing appointment on Monday, and it was for $1 million home in Anaheim. And this owner right here is the one who referred me to his friend. So because I'm leveraging the AI tech, and because I did what I did here and impressed him and delivered it in person, and he was happy with it, that's how I got my next referral. So this is point number 2. Now let's talk about point number 3. Now, point number 3 is all about you being able to create content with ChatGPT. Now, there's a lot that can be done. We're talking about market updates. You can promote just listed, just solds, different client testimonials. Let me just give you an example of what I'm referring to, what I'm talking about, and then we'll take it from there. So I spoke in Montrose, Colorado. I spoke for the real estate board. It was a great event. And when I was there, I did a live presentation for the agents. And this is one of the things that I shared. Hey, ChatGPT, I want you to serve as my real estate marketing advisor. I want you to do some homework and research notable agents in the area. Now, ChatGPT knew I was in Montrose, okay? Then I want you to craft 5 video scripts that I should immediately record. My goals are to connect with the locals, establish value as a local real estate professional, and potentially appeal to people who are looking to move to Montrose from outside markets. Each script should be approximately 120 words or less. Any questions before you begin? I even misspelled begin. I put bean. Any questions before you begin? I've gotten into the habit of asking ChatGPT, are there any questions that you have? Any more information that you need from me? Because then ChatGPT, if they understand what you're looking to do, it'll run with it. But sometimes it will say, yes, before I give you the response that you're looking for, answer these questions. And then what I will typically do is I'm not typing the questions. I'm actually talking right into my phone or talking into my microphone, and I'm just doing voice dictation. Question number 1, answer. Question number 2, answer. I use the voice dictation a lot because it's a lot more efficient. So what does ChatGPT say? Before creating content for a new market, I like to look at what successful agents are already doing. Have you ever done an analysis as to what top realtors in your market are doing right now? And if you haven't, well, have AI do it for you. In Montrose, many of the top producing agents have built their businesses around 3 themes: deep local knowledge and community involvement, lifestyle-focused marketing, including outdoor recreation, small-town feel, Western Colorado lifestyle, as well as relocation and second home opportunities. Montrose sits near destinations like, and then it lists some things, making it attractive to both full-time real estate, full-time residents and people relocating from large metro markets. Many established local agents lean heavily into lifestyle advantages. The opportunity for you is to position yourself as the local guide, not just another realtor. So I thought this was really key because I could spend time myself looking up producing agents, or I could just have AI do it. Now AI is going to be influenced to give me marketing content that can make me stand out. So watch this. This is what ChatGPT produced. Why are so many people moving to Montrose? Have you noticed how many people are moving to Montrose lately? After talking with buyers from states like California, Texas, and Arizona, that's not by accident, by the way. There's a large population influx from these particular states in Montrose. So the data is just so spot on. I keep hearing the same thing, and this is the video script. So now I'm showing you a video script because what I can do is I could take this video script and then deliver the message in my own words. Or what I would do is I would copy it and then I would use captions. You guys know I've promoted captions many times over. I'd promote captions and then I would just read it right off the teleprompter and then have captions edit my video for me. So simple and easy. But what if you don't want to do video content? I want to be able to post and create something that looks cool. Not a problem. So here's what I put. This is great. I definitely feel like we are on the right track. Notice how I'm talking to ChatGPT like a normal human being. I know that's weird, but I am. Can you now create me a marketing piece that I can promote on Instagram? The reason I'm saying Instagram is because I want it to understand where I'm going to be promoting my content because you guys know that there's different size parameters depending on where you're promoting. I want to convey, what's my goal? I want to convey that I am a Montrose realtor. Also, I would like for you to include my headshot, which I will upload. Now, I have my headshot on my iPhone, I have my headshot on my desktop, and when I'm asking for marketing content, I just simply upload the headshot every time. I don't rely on ChatGPT to remember what my headshot looks like because I notice if you don't upload it right away, it gives you a different version of yourself. And I'm like, nope, here's the most updated photo, use this. I think it would be best for you to create an image specific to script one. Now remember, script one, we were talking about why people are moving from Montrose. Here's what ChatGPT says. Could you upload your headshot first? And that's because I forgot to upload my headshot. Even though I said I was going to do it, I forgot to do it. Since you want the marketing piece to feature you as a Montrose realtor, I'll use your actual photo to create a polished Instagram ready graphic rather than a generic placeholder. Once you upload the image, I'll design a square 1080 by 1080 Instagram post built around script one. And this is where it's so key. It's giving me the exact size that I want. And what's the header here? Why are so many people moving to Montrose? With a premium real estate aesthetic, the concept I have in mind is this. Headline, why is everybody moving to Montrose? Subheadline, local insight, community knowledge, real estate guidance you can trust. Visuals, a dramatic Montrose, Western Colorado landscape with subtle lifestyle elements that highlight your area's potential or appeal. Then my headshot positioned prominently, brand positioning, my name, call to action, as well as the style. So now I uploaded my photo. That's why you see me on the bottom. And then this is what ChatGPT produced for me. Isn't that solid? I mean, what do you guys think of that? Why is everybody moving to Montrose? What a great image. I mean, you would pay a designer to create something like this for you. And all I'm paying is ChatGPT 20 bucks a month. So like Peter, you could do this out in your local market, Southern California, Inland Empire. You want to hit OC, LA, whatever, just following the exact same prompts that I just produced here. And I'm like, it just looks so dang good. This is a solid photo. And then what I told ChatGPT is this, because you guys know an Instagram post and an Instagram story, those are two different things. This is fantastic. Can you now make me something similar, but I want it designed as a story? So the dimension should be story friendly. And then ChatGPT gave me this image right here. That way I could just copy this and put it right into my story. You guys know the stories are there for 24 hours and it's gone. So it's different formatting. So now this is just about you having a relationship with ChatGPT with an understanding that this can truly serve as your designer, your design firm. I have a friend of mine who is an amazing designer, but he has told me, he's like, man, I've totally switched my business model because I don't see designers being in business with AI because what you would normally pay me to do, you guys can get done with artificial intelligence. And we're barely scratching the surface of where we're at today. So that's point number three. Now let's take this a little bit further before we move to point four. I'm a little lazy, right? Okay, I got the cool image, but I don't want to have to think about what I want to write. This is where I come back to chat. Now, can you give me the text that I can copy and paste to go along with my Instagram post, not the story? See how I'm being very specific here? And then ChatGPT gives me this text that I can copy and paste and look at. It even includes hashtags. Now, one thing that I like to do is I like to dress up my text with emojis. So what does it say in the top right corner? Update and include some emojis. So this is a text that ChatGPT gave me. So all I would do is go in here, copy it, paste it with the photo. Now I have social media marketing content. And to be efficient, I'm not doing one image every other day. I'm going to spend Friday from 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, where this is going to be my marketing day, and I'm going to produce content for the next 2 weeks, right? That's the most efficient way to do it. So that way you're knocking out content more than just once, more than just one time, one day. But then you start to do it where then you just have it locked and loaded, ready to roll, and then you can promote much more efficiently. So now let's go to point number 4. This is a really cool one. You guys are amongst one of the first groups to see this because this is how new this is. Really new. I just started doing this. So I haven't even done an office training where I've shown this. I'm leveraging AI in order to discuss offer details. Now, if you have more than one offer, this is going to be tremendously handy. If you only have one offer, not a problem. Just make it super efficient for your clients to understand the details of your offer. So I have a property here that I am working on. And you guys can see I'm on ChatGPT. I took a screenshot of the realtor's email to me. Price $751, $10,000 deposit, 30-day escrow, asking seller to cover buyer's broker fee, requesting sellers to pay off solar, reduce the time frames from 12 days due to the 4th over the holidays. So he's reducing the contingency time frames. Feel free to contact me with any questions. I took a screenshot of that image and I uploaded it to ChatGPT. Then I uploaded the actual offer. The offer also includes details for the client. And then I'm telling ChatGPT, okay, I'm selling a house and I have the address. I'm going to be chatting with the sellers today. And that is, so I now spell out the names. The reason I'm spelling out the names is because ChatGPT is going to include my clients' names in the presentation. And then I just start talking. This is just me talking. We're going over the details of the offer. I have included both the offer as well as a screenshot of some of the details that have been provided to me. And then I just share some additional notes. I spoke with the lender. Here's what's going on. 795 qualifying score, 10% down. Debt ratios are 39.6%. And the sellers can actually the buyers can qualify to go up to 50%. Overall, solid buyers, all sources, all funds have already been sourced, and the lender can close as early as 21 days. The buyer did shorten contingencies, 12 days for loan, appraisal, and inspections, which the default per California contract is 17 days. I want to be able to do a presentation with the seller via Zoom. So if you can create a slide deck, what am I asking for here? Here's a bunch of details. Make a slide deck for me so that way I can present it to my clients via Zoom. So I would also like to include next steps. Next steps would be responding to the offer, and this would include either accepting the offer, responding and accepting the terms, but maybe clarifying key conditions, or we can counter. And we indicate what it is specifically that you want to get done. Now, remember, I'm not typing this. I'm just talking, right? So if you guys are talking and if you're not being clear, if you're not making full sense, the more details you give, the better, because AI is really good at interpreting what information you provide. And if it's not clear, it will usually ask you, I need more information. Here's what ChatGPT did. It took 5 minutes, 16 seconds, but what does it say? Done. Here's the seller Zoom slide deck built from the uploaded offer package. And it's given it to me in a PPTX format, which is a PowerPoint format. So now this is what my presentation looks like. Some of the information here you can't see because I took out the address where it has a box on the right side. ChatGPT actually uploaded an image of the property itself. So it pulled up a pixelated image, which is fine. All I did was take my very own image, my money shot, and I added it right on top. So from my perspective, I took what it provided me and I polished it just to make it look a little bit better. But my clients' names are included on this. Offer review for sellers, a clean walkthrough of price, buyer strength, seller requested cost, timelines, and response options. What's the summary? Offer price $751, 30-day escrow, solar payoff requested, And then these are some of the details here. Remember, ChatGPT produced this. Purchase price, list price, over list, 16,000, deposit, escrow 30 days, buyer requested terms, gives a breakdown on the buyer requested terms. ChatGPT even included a screenshot from the residential purchase agreement to show the purchase price as well as the deposit. I thought that that was a nice touch. I was like, that looks very official. Here's the next slide. Gross price is strong. Net depends on solar payoff. The offer is 16,000 above list price, but seller paid items reduce the effective seller proceeds. So what does this show here? Just different amounts here, right? Seller framing. The buyer came in above asking, but the net results depend heavily on the verified solar payoff and seller paid buyer broker compensation. And then it just gives some additional notes here, gives a breakdown on some of the things that were asked for. These are the cost obligations to clarify before acceptance. Buyer appears well qualified, some details for the buyer itself, including information from the loan approval, as well as a qualifying scores, down payment, debt ratios, how quickly they can close. And then this, I thought this was a great visual as well. The buyer shortened key contingency periods, default, offer time, escrow, lender ability. So we ended up putting together a 25-day escrow based off of everything that was sent over our way. And then again, strong buyer, negotiable seller economics. So this is where we're going back and forth and we're discussing what exactly are we going to do. And then we discuss the ways to respond. Accept as written, accept and clarify, let's counter back. When I presented this to my clients were very impressed on how structured and how organized I was with the details of the offer. And they complimented me on it right off the bat. And when we ended the call, they were just thanking me for making it so seamless. One of the sellers had sold a home previously in San Diego County, and she had shared, my other real estate agent did not work like this. So that was very nice. I thought that that was a great just compliment to really what we're doing, because at the end of the day, I'm leveraging AI and digital technology to improve the overall buying and selling experience for each and every one of my clients. Okay, so that's point number 4. Point number 5 is very similar. Point number 5 has to do with the fact that when we are creating or going over repair request when you're representing buyers, I'm taking the inspection report, I'm taking any information that I have, including the termite report, I'm uploading it to ChatGPT. I'm asking ChatGPT to do an analysis. If you work with a company like Elite Group Home Inspections, who happens to be in Southern California, and if you get the cost, the cost repair report, I upload that as well. And really what I'm doing is I'm following the same logic to showcase the presentation, showcase the offer details to my sellers, but this is how I'm going over reviews with my buyers as well. And what ChatGPT has been very impressive is including the specifics, the red line items, which just makes it so simple and so easy for us to be able to discuss and to clarify with our clients. So point number 5, I'm not going to show any examples. I really just, it's very similar to what I just showed you. It's just a different logic. It's just a different understanding. And when I say it's a different logic, it really comes down to when you understand what it is that we're working to accomplish, it makes it a lot easier because you don't have to focus on memorizing prompts. It's more about how do you deliver this message to AI. So what you get is it's organized, it prioritizes, you can ask for clear summaries, gives you a breakdown on cost insights, and then negotiation support, which I think is tremendously helpful as well. And you know, if I'm in escrow with you, I want to make it simple and easy with you. I'm not trying to combat or fight against my fellow realtors. I'm trying to work alongside so we can get this done. I'm leveraging what I'm doing here to also make my case when I'm representing buyers or representing sellers, and really just trying to bring some calm to the storm when all things are said and done. So this is point number 5. Point number 6, probably heard me. You've heard me discuss this many times over, but I'm telling you right now, the evaluation for an estimated value range for ChatGPT is really strong, really strong. I've had so many real estate agents that have shared with me that they're leveraging ChatGPT in order to come up with estimated property values for their properties and how on point it's been for them. There are some states that just don't provide the available information, but if you are in a state that provides the info, it's here for us. And I just wanted to show you this prompt here. I've done this enough in live trainings where I don't want to spend too much time here. I'm definitely still harping on this. I'll be in Lancaster tomorrow doing a live presentation, and we're going to be going over just the listing presentation itself using AI. But here's the prompt. Please provide an estimated value range for subject address. Now, when you give the address, include the zip code. That's one thing that I learned. And then the more specifics that you give, the better, right? So you make sure that you are outlining any and all details of that property as best as you can. One of the best things that you can do is you can upload photos as well, because ChatGPT is smart enough to be able to crawl the photos, look at the photos, take that analysis into consideration when it's producing results for you. And so this is where I'm listing all of the details, upgrades, bedroom count, bathroom count, square footage, any and all details that you have. And then I'm getting this information by asking my clients, tell me about your home. What upgrades have you done? Remember, I'm not even at the property yet. And then I ask my clients, in order for me to be better prepared for our listing appointment on Monday at 10 a.m., do you mind shooting me over some photos of your home? And this would include, for example, you mentioned that the kitchen's upgraded as well as the backyard landscaping. Those photos would be ideal, as well as any other photos that you think would be important. If you could also include some exterior shots of your home, that would be great. And usually what happens is a client walks around the property and just starts snapping photos and sends them over my way. ChatGPT, before you run the prompt, always run deep research. Don't do this without utilizing the deep research function, because if you do just a traditional prompt without deep research, you're not going to get the right answer. So I would definitely go deep research. So let's go to now, I believe we're on point number 7, and this is Manus for visual presentations. Now, what Manus is this. Manus is an AI that is fantastic for creating presentations. Now, ChatGPT's created all the visual slides that you saw from me today. But ChatGPT, in my opinion, is the best for data analysis. Claude's also very strong as well, by the way. Just some additional steps that you could employ in order for Claude to be a little bit more efficient. I do think that that's an added layer of complexity for an average realtor, but it's something that I'm going to definitely start digging into myself. I've been doing it for quite some time. But just to make it real simple, copy and paste. When we're talking about Manus, this is essentially what it looks like. I was referred a client that I mentioned by the gentleman in Jurupa Valley who I did that presentation for. He refers me to his friend who has a property to sell, and it's $1 million property. And I appreciate the fact that when I showed up, she's like, who would pay $1 million for my property? A lot of these websites say my home is worth $1 million. I just don't get it. And I'm like, no, indeed, your home is in that $1 million range for sure. But as I walked around her property, I took some photos. I uploaded them to ChatGPT because she wanted to know what could she do with a limited budget in order to make the home look better. And ChatGPT gave us some really good ideas. And she was really impressed by the fact that we were able to do it right then and there. That's what we discussed today. And I just happened to do it right when I was in front of her. The way I did that, by the way, is I present on my iPad, but on my cell phone, I told her, do you mind if I take some notes? You know, back in the day, we'd write things down, but now with the advancements of AI, I could be a little bit more efficient if you're okay with me using my phone. She's like, yeah, go ahead. So then I took photos, and the questions that are coming in, guys, I will make sure that I answer them. So please share your questions because I'm sure they're going to be helpful for anybody else who's on this call. So as I'm on with her, as I'm there with her, I'm taking photos and I'm telling chat, what should we do here? Or here are some ideas of what I'm thinking. Show me what that would look like. But before I showed up, I ran 4 prompts. Prompt number 1 was about the value. I just showed you that. Give me an estimated value range of the property. Prompt number 2, tell me about the area. What makes this area, this community desirable to homeowners? Prompt number 3 was about the school district. And then prompt number 4 was about the local economics. After I ran those 4 prompts, I asked ChatGPT, organize this information in a very structured format so that way I can convey to my seller that I have a comprehensive understanding of those 4 points: value, the desirability of the market, school district, and local economics. Once I asked ChatGPT to organize it, I told ChatGPT, I'm going to copy and paste this information. I'm going to upload it to a website called Manus. Manus is going to create a presentation for me, so make it copy and paste friendly. And this is exactly what I was able to produce. So I blocked out the address because I'm still working on the listing. I don't want Peter or Naeem to call the client and take this listing from me. So here's what it says: seller strategy presentation, Anaheim, prepared for Maggie. And then these are some of the specifics of the property, but the visuals, my client, as I'm showing her, she's like physically touching the pages because yes, this is in my slide deck, but I print it for my client so I can physically hand it to her. And as I'm showing it on my screen, she's looking at it. I'm leaving that with her. It's a feel good. It's a touching point, right? It just shows that I put time and effort behind my branding elements. And when I gave it to her, she was like, wow, really impressive. You know so much about my market. Like she was really impressed by the fact that I knew her market as well as I did. I want to show you guys, I'm going to switch gears here. I'm going to go from now sharing that screen here to sharing on my desktop. So that way you can see. Okay, so let's go ahead and close this. And yes, I got a lot of things on my desktop here. We're going to open up this and I'm going to go to Manus just to show you how this works. I've been getting so many questions about Manus. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Manus. When you ask ChatGPT for the text, so structure and organize this for me, right? And most of you have already been a part of my training where you've probably heard that. That's why I'm not digging into that. I don't want this session to be a repeat. If you haven't heard my listing presentation training, then just look out for one of my next trainings. But we copy, we paste it here. But what we do is we click right here, create slides. And then when we create slides, we choose how many slides do we want. Now, when you pay Manus, you can choose these options to create bigger slide decks. I'm not trying to create too many slides. I really rely on ChatGPT to organize it in a structured way where it's not too overbearing for a client. I'm a really big believer less is more. So the way that the one that I always use is this one right here, the whiteboard style. If you guys look, this is what the whiteboard style is. And I just showed you the presentation that I just gave you that you saw on the screen, that was made by a whiteboard. So I gave it to my client. She loved it. Everybody was absolutely happy and we were good to go there. If you guys are doing anything cool that I haven't shown, share it with me. I really appreciate to maybe learn some of the things that you guys are doing. And it's just an opportunity for us to collaborate. And then some of the best ideas that I come across is just by putting the pieces of the puzzle together that I meet with other agents.